Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back again. Thank you for joining me for another video. Hope you're having a very, very beautiful day, full of love, full of bliss, and just full of presence, full of your being. In this video, I wanted to just ask you guys a question. What would happen if you were to lose everything? Like all your money, your job, not your like family, like no one's gonna pass away, just the physical things that um give you the sense of security, like your home, your car, just everything that is a physical possession and a physical attribute of this experience, just not your body and not your relatives. What would happen? Most people would think, and see, that's the situation that I want you to observe, that you would think. And once you think, your mind starts to ponder all these most likely negative experiences. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless. Oh my God, I'm gonna starve to death. Oh my God, whatever. So the mind will naturally gravitate to a negative situation, and it's naturally going to gravitate to a negative outcome, a negative thought, a negative image is going to pop up. Now, here's the kicker. That's the mind, right? That you are consulting your experience with. But did you ever think to consult with your heart? What would happen if all these things were to go away? And rather than thinking what would happen, consult with your heart. What would happen? And it's totally different. Totally different. And what I'm getting at, and my point, is that we do this in every aspect of our daily lives. We consult with our mind, and the mind's never, ever, in very few rare occasions, yes, it has a very powerful imagination. Yes, it's going to create beautiful images, and in some cases, very positive and very beneficial context that happens to you. But for the most part, it's always, always, always gonna give you something that isn't pleasant. So here's my real point. When you consult with your heart, let's go back to the question. You lose everything. You consult with your heart. What would really happen? And most likely, I'm not saying this is a fact, this is gonna happen to everybody, but most likely, a great humility is going to take place. A great, great humility is going to take place. A great sense of just release of energy. If you don't consult with your mind, of course, if you're just consulting with your heart, a great sense of release is going to take place. A big vulnerability is going to happen. A sense of like you lost it all, but somehow you're still here, and somehow you're still alive, and somehow you actually gain a lot. You gain yourself. And that's my point. My point is that all these things that are going on in your head that create material things and that keep the material um, focus into your mind, this physical reality, they end up owning you, and you get lost in them completely, and it becomes your identity. It becomes who you think you are. It becomes everything. Prejudices come through there of who has, who doesn't have, who looks like this, who doesn't look like this. You become so in the mind, and the mind is duality. The mind is good and bad. The heart is pure oneness. There is no good, no bad, no this is ugly and this is pretty. It's just sees for what things are, and that's it. So when you consult with your heart, you realize you actually gain more. Now, let's really dive a little bit deeper. So let's say you lost everything and you consulted with your heart, because we know what the mind's going to do. The mind's going to be like, oh my God, all my life is over. That's the mind. And that's what people do with this whole thing going on out there in the world, with the whole virus and personal people losing their jobs and personal people, all of these are temporary experiences anyways. This is just a very small fraction of who you truly are. Who you truly are. You're an infinite being. And what I'm trying to get to you is to awaken your true self, your being that's already being, and not be consulting with this. Because the heart, once you go through your vulnerability, your humility, and you shake off all these concepts and things of the mind and whoop-de-woos, guess what happens? A big weight comes off your shoulder. A big sense of like, whoo, you don't have to keep up with the Jones. All these thoughts, you don't have to have that, fancy house and that type of clothing and that type of artifacts and whatnot. In our culture, of course, some of these material things are practical because it's how the world's been designed. But my point is not to be attached to them, to really focus within of who you truly are. You truly are that person that experiences those things. You are not those things, so don't value yourself and your self-esteem according to the external things. You are infinite, you are a creator, and you are literally a star shining. You're a whole universe within yourself. And when you truly, truly awaken to that, you will realize that you would be totally okay if all these things were gone, because then you'd be allowed to truly be yourself. You would be allowed to truly be yourself. One thing that I always remember is there's a guy, he talks about the ancient land of Atlantis. And, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the civilization of Atlantis. And, it's obviously still a theory or a myth or whatever, because, supposedly we haven't found it. And some say we found it, but, we don't know. So my point with the whole Atlantis thing, and I think his name is Eric, and he says, you know why we haven't found it? Because we are looking for material possessions to validate their existence, like buildings and their type of technology. But what if they were so advanced spiritually in themselves and even physically that they didn't need all these physical things to validate how advanced they were? They were so advanced in here and so connected with everything that they just knew that they didn't need anything else outside of themselves. And that is true utopian society. Blessings all. Love you all. Hope you're having a very beautiful day. Namaste. All is love. Peace be with you. Om.